everybody. Welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Sinead DeFries, and this is The Daily Show, where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. We have an extra special edition of AMC Movie Talk for you all today. We're talking all about Big Hero 6, and then take in your Twitter questions, so make sure if you're watching us live to tweet us at AMC Movie News. I'm all over Twitter right now picking them out. Let's get started. I'd like to introduce you to your AMC Editor-in-Chief, John Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you live from right here at the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California. And yeah, we've got a special episode for you today, talking Big Hero 6. We've got some special guests. I want to remind you guys one quick personal thing first. I did point out the other day that I have the face of a 12-year-old pubescent boy, but I am doing No Shave November. It looks like I've gone 6 hours, not 6 days without shaving, but it has been 6 days. Listen, my family, your family, somebody you know and love has been affected or touched by cancer in one way or the other. We are going to put a link in the description of this video to where you can go to our fundraising page. So please head on over there as my face becomes a reminder to you to, oh yeah, I forgot, I got to give to the American Cancer Society today. Look in the description of the video, you'll find a link to the fundraising page, and go and give today. With that being said, you have heard me talk about this new film, Big Hero 6, a couple of times already. I saw it for a second time last night, and I liked it even better than the first. It's the new film, Big Hero 6, and I am very excited to be joined in studio today by two of the stars of the film, Miss Genesis Rodriguez and Jamie Chung. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us. Thank you so much.
Yay! It's so good.
That's a great intro.
We were just looking at your nails online today. We don't have a close-up shot of it, but you've got like...
honey lemon nails.
You got honey lemon, and you've got Baymax on your thumb.
Yes.
Very cute. Well, first of all, guys, congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
It's so fun, it's endearing, it's emotional, it's exciting, it's everything you want just a great film experience to be. So for a lot of people who may not know much about the film yet, Jamie, why don't we start with you? Just tell us, what is Big Hero 6?
This is the toughest question. Okay, so in a nutshell, Big Hero 6 is about a group of friends that come together to help solve the mystery of the death of Hero's brother. And they get souped up, and they have these cool costumes, and they help save the city of San Francisco.
And I loved the name of the city, by the way. So you guys have had a chance to watch the film now. What's it like now? I got to imagine for an animated film, it's even more different than, say, shooting Sabotage, where you're at least on set and you can see what's going on. But this is an animated film. What's the experience like for you guys to now sit in the theater with an audience and like kind of take that all in?
It's so surreal. Just the Disney logo in itself makes me cry. And then you add Feast, the short that is before our movie. I was crying already. I was a mess last night in the premiere. Honestly, it's so incredible because this movie in particular is not like any other animated movie. It's visually stunning. And I think it's going to set a barometer for all other animated films because of the technology and just how beautiful it is. Of course, you might cry. I'm not going to lie.
No, you will cry.
You will cry, so be prepared. But you are going to laugh, and you're going to be so surprised about the comic book style action in this movie. For a kid, it must be the most fun movie of the year.
Now, I want to get into your character specifically for a second, but I want to let everybody know, I've been in LA now for like 6 years, and it is a stereotype. You see some movie stars, whatever, and they become very, they lose touch, let's put it this way. The two ladies sitting at the table with me, let me tell you first of all about Jamie. The first time I met Jamie, I didn't realize that the morning I met Jamie was to interview you for Sucker Punch.
Yes, I do recall this.
And the morning I was about to leave, Anne, my wife, comes up to me and she hands me this picture. She goes, "Give this to Jamie Chung." I said, "Why?"
It freaked me out. I was like, where did you get this sorority photo? And how did you get your hands on it?
Yeah, I didn't know. As it turns out, you guys are sorority sisters.
Yeah.
So instead of going, oh, whatever, Jamie stops the press junket. She goes, "Where is she?" I said, "She's downstairs in the waiting room." She told the publicist to stop, got up, went downstairs, saw Anne. Like, that's how in touch you are. As for Genesis, you probably don't remember this. You are the first Hollywood celebrity to tell me off. Yes, and I have a video of it as well.
You're kidding
No,
me.
I remember because you and I had just done an interview, I think, for Man on a Ledge.
Okay.
And then it was a little while later, and it was the Will Ferrell film Casa de Mi Padre, which you were amazing in, by the way.
Thank you.
And I was supposed to go, but at the last second we had to do another junket, and I elected to go. So here is a video of Genesis telling me off. Check this out.
John isn't doing. John's not doing. No, John's not. Yeah, I'm like a last-minute replacement. So.
Well, John missed out.
He did miss out, and I'm gonna let him know that.
Yeah. Thomas say, "The hell with you, John. The hell with you."
I remember.
That was great.
That's hilarious.
All right, so let's go back to each. Let's talk about. Tell us about Honey Lemon and your character in the film.
So Honey Lemon is this overly positive, happy chemist. She has the love of fashion and pink, but she is brilliant. You can't judge a book by its cover when it comes to Honey Lemon because she is so smart. And when she becomes a superhero, she has this periodic table purse, and she just manipulates the elements to have these chem balls and throw them, and they become different weapons of sorts.
And tell us about Gogo.
Gogo Tamago is a fierce female character. She is super courageous, and I feel like she represents strength of the group. She's an adrenaline junkie, and yet she has an element of Clint Eastwood. She's a woman of very few words, but when she has something to say, it's very direct and precise.
One of the really cool things about all the different characters is that they're all based on science labs.
Mm-hmm,
I mean, it's really all their abilities per se is all based on what they were doing as students at college based on their science projects, which was really cool.
Yeah.
When you guys were talking about Gogo and Honey Lemon with the directors and things like that, how much of yourselves did they want you guys to infuse into those characters, and how much of you actually ended up on screen?
Truth is, I am Honey Lemon. Yep. I can finally say that to the world. It's so weird because I went to the audition and I went dressed as Honey Lemon without even knowing. I wore socks and heels and an undershirt and a dress, and I saw the picture of Honey and I was like, okay, that's a little weird. I look exactly like that drawing over there. Okay. And I read the scene with them, and they're explaining to me that they're part of a robotics team, and I was like, no way. I was a part of the robotics team in my school. And they were like, okay, this is a little too weird. We'll call you soon. And I'm like, okay, I hope I got this one, because it's pretty much me.
Yeah, I feel like Disney does such a great job in terms of casting because they know the characters so well and what they want them to embody. And, you know, I think it's safe to say that all of the actors are quite similar to the characters in a special way. And I don't know, you know, once you put a voice in it and personality behind it, they come to life. And I feel like they take elements of us as they're progressing with the animation. And so you see quite often, like the facial
gestures.
Exactly, yeah. You do the lip biting, or, you know, the way I'd like pop my gum or like point my finger, like that's all part of the process. Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, I don't know if you guys have you guys done much voiceover work before for animated stuff at all?
Never, for me.
I did, yeah. I did a couple of video games, and then I did this one cartoon. I think it was for Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. I think it was Nickelodeon. But everyone got fired. So like the writers, the actors,
Was it
everyone.
John Schnepp's here? Was it Metalocalypse?
No, it was not
okay.
that. But it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting to be a part of, you know, something that was a weird, negative experience, and then to be a part of something as
The creme
glorious
de la
as
creme.
this. Yeah, exactly.
Animation.
I think it turned out right.
Suddenly now I'm at Disney.
Yeah.
But you know, we were watching the film for the second time last night. I remember watching some of the action sequences, and the action sequences are so well designed, and they look so great. But I don't know why this jumped out at me. But we're watching some of the sequences, and we're seeing Gogo zip around, and we're seeing Honey jumping around and throwing stuff. And I remember listening, for whatever reason, to the sounds in the action.
Yeah.
You know, because it sounds like Maria Sharapova playing tennis. Yeah. And I'm thinking, what do you do in a sound booth? Like, especially if you haven't got a lot of voiceover work, like, what are you doing in the sound booth, and what are they telling you to do?
It's really awkward.
I think that's the most challenging part of this job are the effort noises.
Lots of grunting, lots of weird noises that you have to do. And you have to be like static because you can't hear the movement in your voice.
Right.
So you're just like stiff and you're grunting, and it's so weird. You're trying to be honest.
Yeah, they help quite a bit in terms of setting up the scene. So now you're going after him and you're throwing a disc and then you catch it and then you're gonna fall. Okay, how far? Like 3 feet. No, hard to fall. Like it's interesting. It's quite challenging.
Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't point out part of the movie-going experience for me with Big Hero 6. And yet another reason to see the film is that short film that plays right in front of it. Feast, which Anne cried at multiple times every time that we've seen it. It is one, I think it's better than Disney's Paperman. And I love Paperman.
Yeah.
And the last time I talked to you guys, I think I brought up Feast and you hadn't had a chance
I haven't
to see
seen
it
it
yet.
I know.
What was your reaction to Feast?
I cried.
I cried like a baby.
Because I love animals and I love dogs. You have a Boston Terrier,
I have
so
a Boston.
Exactly, you relate to this more. But I love dogs and I love their gestures and everything, and like bringing this animal to life. It was so sad. It was so beautiful.
Great. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. All right, guys, listen. Before we wrap up here, I want to ask you guys. I do this all the time with people who come in and talk to us. I want you to put on your salesman hats for a second, and we'll start with you, Genesis.
Okay.
Tell us why AMC audiences are going to love Big Hero 6.
I think it's a movie for kids and adults. I think, you can go with your whole family and have an amazing time. You're gonna fall in love with Baymax. Baymax is gonna be an epic character, one for the Disney books. He's gonna tug at your heart and he's gonna make you laugh and cry. And this whole movie, the message is so wonderful. Superpower is your brain, this is a wonderful positive message for kids and, girls as well. Two very strong female characters in here, so it's just a wonderful movie to see.
Jamie, how about you?
What she said. No, it was explained so perfectly, in terms of, the unconventional family, the group coming together and standing behind Hero and being the support system. There's great messages in this film all throughout, and it's so entertaining, and you really are on the edge of your seat, and other points you're sobbing. It's such a fun film. It's what it is. It's fun.
It has that Disney magic written all over it, and it's going to stand really well against all other Disney movies on its own. It's beautiful.
Well, I've seen the film twice already. I'm going to see it 2 or 3 more times. I love this film, guys. You absolutely must see Big Hero 6. And considering how good it is, let me ask you this one more thing. You may not be able to answer, but I can ask. Have there been talks or any discussions about a follow-up, about a sequel to the film yet?
Yeah, there's going to be Big Hero 7. There's a love interest for Go-Go. She falls in love with Fred. And Baymax gets a girlfriend.
I'd see that movie.
That's my pitch. No, there hasn't been any official word, but...
All right, well, we'll keep our eyes open for it. Well, guys, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Genesis Rodriguez, Jamie Chung, congratulations on the film, and I cannot wait for AMC audiences to see this.
Thank you.
Well, listen, on top of these guys, there are a lot of wonderfully talented people behind this film. The direction of Big Hero 6 is actually one of the incredible strong points, as you'll see, and I just want to share with you right now a little bit of my conversation with the filmmakers behind Big Hero 6. Check it out.
Guys, first of all, congratulations on the film. It's an awful lot of fun.
Oh, thank you.
I got to ask, as somebody who is familiar with the history of Big Hero 6, talk about the process you guys went through in creating not only this version of the team, and because it's a bit of a departure from what we know traditionally, but also this world you've created, San Francisco. What was that process like for you guys?
Well, that's where it started. After our conversations with Marvel, when we said, we wanted to take on Big Hero 6, they were super enthusiastic and really encouraged us to not be beholden to the Marvel Universe. You don't have to worry about setting it inside the Marvel Universe. Create your own universe with it. And we got very excited by that because that's the first thing we generally do with these movies is create the world. And it gave us creative license to create our own new world. And we love the idea of mashing things up. This is Disney and Marvel mashed up together. And so we wanted it to definitely have a Japanese aesthetic, but we wanted to mash it up with an iconic city. And that's what led to San Francisco and Tokyo coming together, because we felt like San Francisco had a lot of iconic things that you would recognize immediately the mashup with the Japanese aesthetic.
Yeah, we love world building here. Part of the experience for the audience is being told a great story, but another part of it is being taken to a world they've never seen before and have it be a world they want to go to. And I think that one nice thing about the San Francisco of it is it's the delineation. It means that we're not on Earth as we know it, and we're not even in the Marvel Universe, which is a version of Earth populated with superheroes. It's a new place. So there are no superheroes in this world. There's no confusion where the audience would be expecting to see Captain America or Thor show up. We wanted a brand new world and where superheroes are not a pre-existing condition.
One of the keys that I find if you want to know if a film has some really good direction behind it, is what can they do with just visual storytelling. And we automatically think of that sequence in Up. We think of a lot of WALL-E. It's almost impossible with today's technology to really capture a sense of awe and wonder. There's a sequence in this film with Hero and Baymax taking flight for their first time, where I remember watching it and just leaning back in my chair and
Awesome.
being overwhelmed by the experience of it. What was the key to bringing that experience of awe and wonder and amazement to the audience?
Wow, and that's something you had expressed 3.5 years ago, that you wanted to capture that feeling.
Yeah, it goes back to me, just the wish fulfillment of imagining yourself as a kid being able to fly around on a robot. There's something, I guess, primal for me that speaks to that 8-year-old kid who loved comic books and loved animation. And so, in one sense, that it is sort of a celebration of that idea. And then we hand it over to some amazing technicians in our layout department who did some amazing camera work in that to really give you that sense that you're, a mile above a city, flying through the clouds and wind turbines and going at the, at the speed of sound almost. So.
Yeah, as directors, we'd love to take all the credit.
Yeah.
But the truth is, we're surrounded by hundreds of really talented artists, and so what you're seeing is them firing on all cylinders, and you really feel the collaborative spirit of this. When you're experiencing a scene like that and you're getting that feeling, it's a credit, I think, to the collaborative spirit here at Disney Animation.
Big Hero 6 hits AMC theaters everywhere this week. Actually, screenings of it start tomorrow. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. And honestly, it's not just because I have them here in the studio. I love this film. Trust me, as Dennis, we turn down people. Some movies asked to come in here and be on the show, and we say no because we didn't like the film. I love Big Hero 6. I can't wait for you guys to see it. Well, for the rest of our show today, we're going to do nothing but take your live Twitter questions. Tweet to us right now at AMC Movie News on Twitter. Sinead's over there. She's been collecting your questions already. So, Sinead, what do we have?
The first one comes from Colton Irvin asking, I saw Interstellar last night and it was amazing. Have you ever watched a movie and wanted to improve the way that you live? Thanks.
By the way, our guests have gotten significantly less attractive, but
What are you talking about?
More attractive.
Wait a sec. Now you got to look at me, guys.
No, what are you talking about? The real eye candy is here, right?
Yeah, now the real eye candy
we have
is here.
arrived.
Check it out.
So, Chef, let's start with you. Have you ever seen a movie that's made you want to live your life better?
Yeah, a lot of movies. Born Free. I remember seeing that movie when I was a little kid, and I was like, can't we all just get along? Yeah, you know what? A lot of movies are uplifting, and right off the top of my head, just because I just changed from Genesis into Me, I really that Twitter question is throwing me off. So I'm going to stick with Born Free. Check it out. It's about living with animals.
Dennis?
I can't think of one off the top of my head. I think it's more of like kind of an accumulation of watching a bunch of different movies through time, I guess.
I think for me it would probably be Star Wars, because that's what made me want to be a Jedi. So that's always improving life. All right, what's next?
Okay, this one comes from at Kyle Kizu asking, does Nolan trust his audience too much with complex, big ideas?
Well, see, that's an interesting question, but that's a question you can only really answer if you've seen Interstellar. And so I'm going to, for now, because I don't want us to get into anything spoiler or anything, for now we will pass. But ask that question again next week once people have actually had a chance to see the film, because part of my answer will have to do with if you've seen the film. I don't want to give anything away. So let's just dive into the next question now.
Lucas asks, people always ask, what are your top 5 best movies of 2014? This time I want to ask you, what are your worst movies of 2014?
For me, I would have to have a list of the movies that came out this year in front of me, because I don't keep it in my head at any given moment. I can't even think off the top of my head. I know there are, Transformers is probably the worst film I've seen this year.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, Transformers 4. Those are the top 2.
I'm trying to think of some other. I can't. Like
Yeah,
I said,
I mean, Transformers for me is the one that sticks out as the worst movie I saw this year.
Yeah.
I don't have Spider-Man on my worst list. My best movie was Birdman so far.
One of those young adult films, I can't remember which one. That's in
The City of Dumb, I think you call it.
Yeah,
City
of Dumb.
Bones.
Yeah, City of Dumb. That's definitely number 3. Boy, let me see. There was a really bad horror film recently. I'm trying to think, but anyway, let's.
All right,
move
what's
on.
next?
This one comes from at Alexander Burton asking, hi AMC, I love the show. I've read several sites claiming Dave Bautista is playing the main henchman in Bond 24. Is this true?
There are certainly a lot of credible reports about that going around. And remember, I would say there's several levels of things. There's complete rumor, there's reports, and there's confirmed. So this is beyond rumor. This is more than just rumor. There are several very credible places claiming this place. As far as I know, though, this has not yet been confirmed. But after seeing his success and what he was able to do in Guardians of the Galaxy, and seeing if you put him in the hands of the right director, because, Dave Bautista will tell you himself, he has told people himself, that, I'm not the greatest actor in the world. But when you put a guy like him, who's willing to do anything, is totally humble, and will do whatever a director who understands how to use him best can do, he can be a powerful on-screen presence. And a guy like that, when's the last time we had a real iconic kind of like Skyfall? Yes, right. Javier Bardem was definitely a really good bad guy, but is he an iconic bad guy like Jaws used to be or whatever, or Mr. Fix-It or whatever?
Or who's the guy with the hat?
Isn't that Fix-It? No, what was his?
Odd Job.
Odd Job. Why is Mr. Fix-It Odd Job? Batista, I think, has the potential to be that if in the hands of the right director. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, if given the right role, which I think they're building it towards him, he might not be the main bad guy, but he could be the main bad guy's muscle and fall in between Jaws and Odd Job as like an iconic Bond villain. So.
Yeah, if he's a henchman and not the main guy, I think it can work really well.
All right, what's next?
All right, let's see here. Joseph asks, who is a great comedy duo in movies today? I miss the days of Chris Farley and David Spade.
Oh, Chris Farley, David Spade did. I mean, they did one or two really bad ones, but a couple of them were just great.
I liked a lot of theirs.
Okay, so great comedy duos today. Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly.
Yep. Jim Carrey and from Dumb and Dumber.
Oh,
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels, sorry.
Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum.
Oh, yeah.
22 Jump Street.
I was going to say...
Seth Rogen and James Franco.
James Franco is a good comedy duo. Yeah. They haven't done anything together lately, but for a while I always loved seeing Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson together on screen. Zoolander is still... I love Zoolander.
I would hope, if they're not going to do a Heat 2, eventually they should team up Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy in another movie. Because I thought they were great together.
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
That's great.
They're great whether they're in a movie or live on stage or whatever.
Oh, I got one. Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader. They were fantastic in Skeleton Twins.
Always great together. Yeah. They're always really good
I want to see Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy return in Bowfinger 2.
Yes.
That would be incredible.
Awesome.
One of the best movies that no one's heard of or seen.
But speaking of, I actually thought Steve Martin and Alec Baldwin were pretty together in that one, what was the name of that movie they did? I can't remember, where they were fighting over the same woman. Anyway, a lot of really good comedy dudes going around today. All right, what's next?
Gil Hermo Martins asks, what do you think of Fassbender for Steve Jobs?
Yeah, well, that's one of the reports going around right now, is that that's the next guy they have in mind. That Danny Boyle wants Michael Fassbender. You cannot accuse the people behind Jobs of not thinking big enough. They started with Leonardo DiCaprio. They went to Christian Bale. I'm still reeling from the fact that he backed out of that. And I still want to know what the real reason is. Right. And now maybe Michael Fassbender, it's like win, win, win. So you can it's kind of like the director thing. Before Danny Boyle, there was David Fincher. So you lose David Fincher, I guess we'll have to settle for Academy Award-winning director David Boyle, right? So it's win, win, win. I just want this to get settled. I just want to know who the guys, but at least if you're looking forward to this movie, they are aiming high in everything, from their writer to their director to their actors. They're aiming very high. So I don't know, what would you guys think about Fassbender's Jobs?
I think he'd be fantastic. I was really looking towards Christian Bale because I thought he really fit that character.
Yeah,
but Fassbender's a good possible replacement. And when you have an Aaron Sorkin script, then it's going to attract the right directors and the right acting talent to it.
I gotta say, I was super disappointed when I heard that Christian Bale bowed out. Not only does he have a striking resemblance to Steve Jobs, but it just feels like he could play that role.
I think he could get the mannerisms.
Michael Fassbender, he's an incredible actor. I love him in everything he's been in. To see him as Steve Jobs just seems completely strange and weird.
You know what? I do have one theory about why he backed out of Jobs.
What?
I heard they hired the DP from Terminator.
Right. Oh, you can't stop moving my line.
You and me are done professionally.
Done. You get out of my line. You're in my line. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He threw a tantrum, ripping Sorkin's script up.
He ripped Sorkin's script up. All right, what's next?
At the Movie Fan Guy asks, why do you think we haven't had a Doctor Strange actor confirmation, and when do you think we will get it?
Well, I mean, I honestly thought we would have had one by November. I really did. Because they're I mean, we're starting to get close, but it's not like it's imminent, right? So, look, we know they've been talking to several people. One, if you believe the reports, Joaquin Phoenix was supposed to be pretty much almost there, and then that fell through, if you believe the reports. I don't know. Look, honestly, I think they've got Doctor Strange now. I think they've got their guy now. And I do think it's Benedict Cumberbatch. But I mean, I could be wrong about that, not a big deal. But I think they have him now, and they're just waiting on making the announcement at the right time. Remember, it wasn't that long, it was just a week ago that they had this huge Marvel thing. I don't think they had anything locked in place yet at the time. And I think maybe they do now, but they just probably want to let it breathe a little bit. I'm speculating completely here, so don't take any of that as gospel. Anyway, what do you guys, have you heard anything, or what do you think?
I heard Benedict Cumberbatch is dropping out and Fassbender's taking it. No, it's not. Yeah, I'm with you. On the speculative chart realm, yeah, they already nailed it. He signed it for like 18 movies. They're just going to wait. They were like, look, we had this giant announcement. Let's wait a little bit. We'll rock you when we rock some other announcement. Or maybe you'll just be by yourself, you know. But
I think he could be locked. Maybe they're waiting for him to get his nomination for Imitation Game. They're like,
there you
go, Oscar-nominated actor as Doctor Strange.
The Doctor is in. Category, Oscar winning, you know.
All right, what's next?
Tyler says, hey, love the show. To honor November 5th, what are your thoughts on V for Vendetta? Thanks so much and keep up the amazing job.
Oh yeah, remember, the 5th of November, I totally forgot.
Guy Fawkes, yeah.
I was really surprising. V for Vendetta is one of those films, it's not one of those films that I disliked the first time I watched it, but I watched it the first time and I was like, okay, that was all right, that was pretty good. And then for whatever reason, I watched it the second time like, no, man, I'm really kind of blown away by this movie. I really love the intricacies of it and how they set it up, and the characters were so good, and Portman gives I realized the more times I saw the film, gives a better performance than you think she does at first, when you really watch her nuances. I really enjoyed that film. I thought it was a really nice one-shot. What do you guys think?
I had mixed feelings about it. I liked most of the movie, and then the ending kind of just threw me out of it. So I thought it was kind of rushed, and so I don't know. I have to watch it again to make sure like how I feel about it.
I personally love the film. I think it's an underrated masterpiece. I bought it on iTunes. I own it as a DVD, and I usually watch it once a year because I love the original Alan Moore V for Vendetta. So it's a great story about, you know, standing up for yourself and believing in yourself, and revolution, guys. You know, so it was televised in this version. So we'll see what happens in reality. But yeah, it's really worth honoring Guy Fawkes and the idea behind it. So.
All right, let's take two more quick ones.
At Freddie Orozco 1 asks, what's the worst cop-out ending in a movie? Personally, I hated The Forgotten. Really? Aliens?
Yeah, that was actually quite a bad one too. Some people will, even though I really like the movie, actually I really quite like Sixth Sense. I don't think it's great or a masterpiece, but I really like, no, sorry, not Sixth Sense, his other one. M. Night Shyamalan's with
The Happening.
With Mel Gibson. Why am I
Signs.
Signs. I actually really like Signs, but that whole ending of really a glass of water is what fights off the aliens.
Right.
Really? So that's a pretty bad. And honestly, to me, even though I really, really, really liked the film, I thought the whole spinning top thing at the end of Inception was a cop-out. I really did. I was like, because to me it was like, commit to one or the other. What's the narrative path? Commit to it. It's like, no, I don't need to commit to it. Just let the audience decide what it means. I know a lot of people really like that. Smarter people than me really like it. I'm just saying, for me, I kind of felt like it was a bit of a cop-out. What are some cop-out endings for you guys?
Well, speaking of Inception, I totally disagree with you.
I know you do.
Love the
That's
ending
why I
of
said
Inception.
smarter people than me disagree.
Yeah, I like the ambiguous end of Inception. As far as other movies, yeah, I mean, well, yeah, Signs was one of those ones where like this is what, because I actually like the, you know, kind of like with V for Vendetta, I liked most of the movie until it got to the ending. I was like, what is this? They built all this for that, and I was just, I don't know, I was really disappointed.
What Signs? Aliens come to a planet that their water will destroy them.
It's
75% water. Yeah. You know, we had mentioned Sucker Punch. That was one of the parts of Sucker Punch I didn't like, that it was all a dream, but it was this other girl's memory of this other thing. You know, that's one of the, you know, Sucker Punch, a lot of people hate or love lots of things about it, but that when you have a movie that's all a dream, or it was none of the things that you're actually watching are real, that usually is a big bummer for me, so.
All right, last question of the day. Let's hit it.
Samuel asks, when do you think it will be finally time to terminate the Marvel Cinematic Universe? It has to end sometime after Phase 4, 5, 6.
It will. First of all, you're absolutely right. Look, all trends ebb and flow. They come and they go. Metal comes and goes, and they thought metal would live forever, but it continues to exist in one form or another. And guess what? At some point, it's going to make a massive resurgence to 80s levels. At some point, everything in our pop culture comes and goes. Comic book films were starting to get hot, then they went away, then they came back, and they've been back ever since, and they've been on a real surge. But it's difficult to prognosticate when they're going to end when they are the hottest ticket in the world right now. Right when you have the biggest stars lining up to be in them. They make the biggest money at the box office. The critics are loving them. We've got to see 3 or 4 in a row that are at least not terrible, but that are at least kind of disappointing. We haven't had 3 or 4 in a row that are kind of disappointing. And when that happens, then we can start to sit back and say, okay, can we see when this thing might start to take a downturn and when it might be time to cool off in the comic book films? But as long as they're going as hot as they are, they're going to keep going, and so they should. But anyway, what do you guys think?
I think after, when you get 2 or 3 financial bombs at the box office, I'm not talking about doing okay, just like a bomb.
Yeah,
then
like John Carter bomb.
Yeah, you're going to start to see like a fade away. But it happens with everything. People forget, like, Westerns used to be huge. They used to have tons of Western movies, Western TV shows, and all that stuff. And we still have Westerns, but they're far and few between.
Right.
Like we get like the Lone Ranger. That's not really a Western.
Nah.
Yeah, I think even within the terminology, Phase 4, Phase 5, that is a transformation. Hey, we just completed this one transformation, now we're in another transformation. So I think like all of these films will ebb and flow, but there'll always be a cinematic universe for Disney Marvel. It just makes total sense. You can start it with Iron Man and the Hulk and end it in 2087 with, some weird, strange mashup of the Avengers and whoever, Guardians of the Avengers Part 9.
Guardians of the Avengers.
Crystal Infinity Secret Wars. And you're like, what? What is it? I don't even know. Yeah, everyone's liquid metal. It's like, who knows what it's going to be in the future, but it will be something different. And yeah, transformations will happen, like you're saying, Westerns, ebb and flowed, musicals. People used to dance towards this camera and sing at you, I mean, there's always those transformations. That's part of moving forward in life. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, the one thing that I can see that might put the brakes on it is that, and this is the one fear, the farther and farther you go into the cinematic universe, it becomes anything, not just comic book movies, anything, can start to become convoluted, right? Because now you've had alien invasions on Earth, now everybody and their next door neighbor has superpowers, and now you're going to get into more, now we're going to introduce the mystical arts, then we're going to have Black Panther, then we're going to have Inhumans, then we're going to have the Moon People, and then, cats and dogs singing together, like whatever, and suddenly the world that this Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to become just too convoluted of a place that at some point they're going to have to sit back and maybe not take a break for 10 years, but at some point they're going to have to sit back and just hit a reset button and say, let's get back to some simpler storytelling. But
they did it in the comic books. I mean, the New 52.
Exactly.
They restarted everything, and that's going to happen with the movies eventually.
Yeah, and both Marvel and DC are doing these big events where it's like everything's ending, or secret, or multiversity, or the multiverse is combining, with all these different things.
What I'm hoping happens is kind of those Elseworld alternate universe movies start getting made after they kind of run the course of the regular cinematic universe, like an Old Man Logan.
But that's why I'm kind of excited about the potential of that The Rock's Shazam movie maybe not being in the DC Cinematic Universe, maybe being its own thing. See, that's why that excites me a little bit, because it kind of gives you a little bit of a cleaner palette to tell that story against. But anyway, guys, we've gone over time. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank, first of all, our guests from Big Hero 6, Genesis Rodriguez and Jamie Chung, for coming in here. Make sure you check out Big Hero 6 when it hits theaters starting tomorrow. And on top of that, don't forget, check out anything. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, movie ticket information. It's not just Big Hero 6. You also got Interstellar hitting theaters. A lot of other films already in theaters. Go get your movie tickets there. Don't forget, if you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video and you'll find a link to our podcast feeds. You can listen to us on the way to work or at the gym, wherever you are. I want to thank the guys who kicked out Genesis Rodriguez and Jamie Chung. Mr. Dennis Zen. Dennis, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter @ThinkHero and on Instagram, dennis.tzeng.
The one and the only Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you?
Find me Instagram, Twitter, John Schnepp, and TDOSLWH. And go see Nightcrawler. I just saw it yesterday. What a fantastic film.
It is indeed. And, of course, our lovely host today, Miss Sinead DeFries. Sinead, where can people find you?
I am on Instagram and Twitter @Sinead DeFries and at thatsosinead.com.
And you guys can find me on all the various social media networks just at John Campea. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. We'll be back again tomorrow. So until then, my name's John Campea for AMC Movie News. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.